back to our third district debate. We begin this segment with Mr. Winsley. The question is, the city of New Haven has an ID card for illegal immigrants. Would you support something like that on a national level?
No. What I would support is strengthening our immigration process and streamlining it so it's easier for people to do the right thing. I've always said that we're a nation of immigrants. The United States should be as difficult to enter as the Holiday Inn. What I mean by that is everyone is welcome at the Holiday Inn. You can stay there, doesn't matter where you're from, but we all have to do one thing: check in so that everyone knows who is there. And our immigrants that come here should be welcome, one and all, but everyone should have to check in properly at our borders so we know who's here. And that means strengthening our borders. For the folks that are here, the 12, 13 million undocumented immigrants that are here, we do have to find a way to get those people into the process that does not negate the sacrifices that people have made who have immigrated properly. ID cards? No, but I am open to looking into different ways to get everybody into the mainstream as easily as possible.
Mrs. DeLauro, you have 90 seconds.
Thank you. I don't support an ID card because I believe that is really not what the issue is. What we need to do is have comprehensive immigration reform. What do I mean about that? We have to have secure borders. I have voted to beef up our border patrol. Secondly, we need to have sanctions for those employers who knowingly recruit and hire undocumented workers. We need to deal with the laws that are on the books today and enact those and make sure that we're using those. What we need to do with regard to those undocumented people who have been here for years but who are here in good standing. What do I mean? They're paying taxes. They have no criminal record. We have to find a pathway for them to be able to get to citizenship. Not that they're given preference for moving forward before everyone else, but in essence, coming into the process with those ahead of them being able to move first. We should clear up the backlog that we have with regard to people who are here legally and who need to be able to process. First of all, it's a very serious issue. If it continues to be politicized the way it is, we will never address how to really make some inroads here, and we will have every state, every city doing something to try to alleviate the problem.
Thank you, Mrs. DeLauro. Mr. Winsley, you have 30 seconds.
Plain truth that a lot of people won't speak about, especially those who are in office now, is this. There's a lot of talk about, well, we need to do this about our borders and we need to secure our borders, but there's really no effort being put forth to really do it. However, the day after someone walks across one of our borders, north or south, and does something heinous, then all of a sudden you're going to get a wall. Then all of a sudden you'll get an effort to actually secure our borders. We didn't all have to take our shoes off to board a plane until the day after someone tried to blow a plane up that way. I'd like to address the problem now.
Thank you very much. Now our next question, and it goes to Mrs. DeLauro, and you voted for the president's health care plan, which he even doesn't mind it being called Obamacare, so for the sake of it, we'll call it that. Give us an example of, a couple examples of how Obamacare is good for your district, and Mr. Winsley will respond with why he thinks it's bad for the district.
First of all, it's one of the proudest votes I've cast in the House of Representatives. I wasn't there for Social Security and Medicare, but I was there for the Affordable Care Act, because I believe that for 100 years we have been trying to find a way in which we can make health insurance affordable for those who have it and make it affordable for those who do not have it but who need it. Several examples. First of all, today, young people can stay on their family's health insurance until age 26. That is already bringing down the rate of uninsured. The insurance companies can no longer charge annual caps, lifetime limits. For women, it's particularly transformative. No longer is it just being a woman is a pre-existing condition. Also, women are not going to pay 48% more for their health care as they have been in the past. Cesarean section, violence against women, no longer a pre-existing condition. Preventive services like contraception, cancer screening, etc. are now in place in the Affordable Care Act. Seniors, close the donut hole, bring down the rate of prescription drugs. Small businesses, today, 35% tax credit in order to provide their workers with health care. It is a transformative piece of legislation that will make a tremendous difference and help us to control health care costs in the future.
Thank you, Mrs. DeLauro. Mr. Winsley, you have 90 seconds. Why is it bad for the district?
Well, there are several reasons why I would vote to repeal the Affordable Care Act, but I'll give you one. I mean, because it's a Pandora's box of like little evil surprises and hidden taxes that our incumbent legislators didn't bother to read before they voted on it. One of those surprises is that the PSA blood test for screening for prostate cancer, which saved my life last year, that test under Obamacare is rated as a D in its rating, which means it'll be discouraged, discontinued, what have you. Well, that alone will result in the deaths of more men from prostate cancer, in particular, more black men like me, because African Americans are more susceptible to prostate cancer, and it tends to be more aggressive, like my case was. So I would ask my opponent here, what do you say to all the men, especially those young black men like me, who are going to die because of the bill that you proudly voted for but apparently didn't read? What do you say to them? And should they vote for you?
Oh, they should,
you have 30 seconds.
They should absolutely vote for me because it's going to be transformative for them as well. I'm not sure where your information stems from. The fact of the matter is I did read the bill several times. But it's hard for me to believe. I don't know that it is in it. I don't know. I have to check the veracity of your comments on that issue. I don't know that that is true. Why would we exclude that one area when preventive services, quite frankly, and screenings for cancer, it doesn't say just cancer that affect women or children or so forth. It says cancer screenings are now available, and there's no copay attached to it. So I think, I don't know.
In our closing moments, we have time for one more question. We're going to need 30 seconds to answer it. This goes to Mr. Winsley. If you're elected to Congress, will you try to get federal money to expand Tweed New Haven Airport, or do you think it should just stay the way it is?
That's something that I would look at. Right now, I think that yes, it does need some expansion, but we would have to look at how we pay for it.
Mrs. DeLauro?
I'm a strong believer in investment in infrastructure because I think it's a key to economic growth. I would first want to talk to both New Haven and East Haven about what their plans are, what they would want to do, and how we could come to consensus. But I would fight for federal funds if we wanted to move forward on an expansion because, again, I think that infrastructure begets economic development and it creates jobs that cannot be outsourced.
Very good. All right, and we have time now for our closing statements of 1 minute. And I'm going to help you out here a little bit because we're just going to find out which camera you're on for this. Adam? Camera 1. Mrs. DeLauro, and you have 60 seconds.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Dennis. I'm very, very proud of my record of service in the Congress. And I don't ask for your support as a reward for the work that I've done, but rather it is because of the battles that are yet to be fought. We are at a critical juncture and a critical moment in our state and in our nation. We face a choice. And that choice is whether we want to move forward as a nation to strengthen the middle class, or are we going to continue to provide the breaks for the richest and wealthiest Americans while leaving working families, seniors, those who are the least fortunate and the most vulnerable out there to fend for themselves. You know me, you know how hard I work, and you know that I always fight for you. I'm so proud to serve in this job, and I never take anyone's support for granted. You know, I will continue every day to work to bring your voices to the Congress. I don't take your trust lightly. I ask for your support and your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. DeLauro. Mr. Winsley, you have 1 moment. 1 minute.
And thank you. I am running for U.S. Congress because I want to help more of our neighbors go from food stamps to full-time employment, remove some of the barriers and uncertainty, especially for our small and medium-sized businesses, so that they can grow and begin hiring our neighbors again. Because in order for people to go from food stamps to full-time employment, there has to be jobs for them. Also, to make sure that more of our children are fully prepared and fully educated for the modern workforce. And we have a choice. We have a choice between more of the unsustainable programs and dependence that we have had for the past 2 decades, or we can choose to turn the page and embrace a bright future for our children and for their children. And I believe that the choice has never been more stark and more clear than what's before you. And I thank you very much for your support. And also, Dennis, thank you for the opportunity to be here. And
Thank you.
I look forward to having a live debate next week.
Mr. Winsley, Mrs. DeLauro, our candidates, thank you very much. I think this is the first color-coordinated candidate panel we've had here with the yellow and the black. Thank you so much, and
Thank
best
you.
of luck on November 6th.
Appreciate it.
We
Thanks so
thank
much.
all of you for watching today. You can leave your comments